Welcome back with another episode of Before You Buy. سلام، خوش اومدید به کانال گیم. قرار بررسی داشته باشیم روی بازی تاینی تیناز واندرلندز که میشه سرزمین عجایب تاینی تینا. اگه نمیدونید قضیه از چه قراره، تاینی تیناز واندرلندز یه اقتباسی از بوردرلندزه و به قولی نسخه بعدی اون بازیه که قراره در مورد شخصیت تاینی تینا باشه. که حالا چرا اولش گفتم welcome back with another episode of Before You Buy. فکر کنم ویدیوشو دیده باشید، نمیدونم اگه حالا یه سرچی توی یوتیوب بزنید راجع به حالا هر گیمی احتمالا دیدید که این ویدیوها میاد بالا که یه آقایی هم هست عموما هر بازی که باشه عکس صورتی از اون بازی هم میذاره روشو. اسم ویدیوهاش با عنوان Before You Buy، کانال گیمر ANX چیز میشه. من ترجمم جلب شده بود چند وقتی که بیام من خودش رو ترجمه کنم چیز کنم که گفتم نه چه کاریه، بیایم ویدیوشو با هم دیگه ببینیم و ببینیم که نظرش راجع به بازی چیه. بازی رو بررسی نمی‌کنه، همونجوری که اسمش پیداست قبل از خرید، قراره قبل از خرید داشته باشیم. ببینیم قبل از خرید واندرلندز، تاینی تیناز واندرلندز بعد چه چیزایی بدونیم و اصلا تاینی تیناز واندرلندز قراره چی کارا بکنه، چیه، چجوریه. بریم ببینیم نظر دوستمون راجبش چیه. میگه برگشتیم با یه قسمت دیگه از قبل از خرید. میگه من جیکم. یه خیلی سرمون شروع چون قرار راجع به تاینی تیناز واندرلندز حرف بزنیم. میگه هم بوردرلندز انگار انداختنش توی دنیای دانجن تور اینایی با شخصیت تاینی تینا. یه خیلی سورپرایز شدم. یه اسپویلم نداره. یک بوردرلند فن معمولی هم. نسخه سوم معمولی دوست داشتم، داستانش اونقدر چیز نبود. خیلی هم انتظار زیادی واسه تاینی تینا نداشتم. میگه ولی وقتی بازی کردم به نظرم خیلی خوب بود، اونقدر چیز بزرگی نبود اما خوب بود. اما میگه بهترین چیزی که توی بازی بود این بود که میتونین کاراکتر خودشون رو بسازین. میگه با یه کاراکتر رنگ نشده طرفین و بعد همه چیز رو میتونین تغییر بدین. میگه فقط یه سری انتخاب کردن سراغ و اینا نیست، همه چیز رو میتونین عوض بکنین. یه سری کلاس های هم در بازی قرار گرفته.
Bonuses that seem fairly unique, and then you choose a character background with some stat presets and you go from there, leveling up, strength, dexterity, intelligence, traditional RPG stuff like that. That gives you, say, critical hit chance bonuses, health and shield stuff, faster cooldowns, you know, Borderlands stuff. It's a good mix. It works pretty well. Translates to the game and leveling up really nicely. Like genuine good old-fashioned RPG character building and growing feels good here. Now, the actual gameplay itself is that new, kind of updated, faster Borderlands 3 style shooting and sliding with some new twists. Now, shooting and aiming feels as good as expected on PC, mouse, and keyboard, and controller, with it being zippy and reactive, good feedback despite the various different weapon types.
میگه نظر خیلی حس خوبی میگن از سلاح‌های مختلف. هنوزم بوردرلنده.
They feel less sci-fi overall at times. They feel
میگه خیلی میگه خیلی کمتر سای-فای به نظر میرسن، بیشتر فانتزی شدن.
Plenty of weird shotguns and machine guns that still just go shooty bang bang. Now, like I said, they usually have a bit more of a magical or fantasy twist to them, and sometimes it takes a second to figure out if a gun is a shotgun or a long-range rifle or whatever.
میگه یه ذره طول میکشه تا عادت کنیم به صلاحش، بفهمیم شاتگان چیه.
You know, there are still category manufacturers for each, and I just had fun picking up new guns, which is like the whole point of Borderlands. Along with that, there's a dedicated melee weapon, and you can really kind of lean into that as a build, although the melee itself is really just clicking the stick or pressing a key to slash. There's not much to it. I wish there was a bit more to it. I actually found that a little bit disappointing, but still having some stats behind it, having different weapons to pick up for it, and different swinging speeds is pretty cool. It's a good change up. Along with that, the magic and casting is great. It shakes itself out of the Borderlands framework a little bit with a couple of magic abilities that just really impressed me, and I love leaning into those abilities in my build and picking up new spells.
دوست داشتم همه رو بردارم توی بیلدم قرار بدم.
Cooldowns are generous, so you're not always shooting. You're also doing these crazy things pretty consistently.
همیشه در حال تیر زدن نیستین. کارا هم باید انجام بدید.
into that like looter shooter addiction, but the new presentation and spin really helped sell me on falling back into it. You know, endlessly scrounging for loot, weapons, spell abilities, and even armor stuff. Now, the armor stuff isn't quite as in-depth as I'd hoped, but everything else is good, and there's
میگه این armor stuffش کردم بهمون نشون داد خیلی خوب نیست ولی بقیه چیزا عالیه.
There's a few glitches with it here and there, and it all just feels cluttered and
میگه منوش خیلی شلوغه، بعد موقعا گلیچی میشه.
Usually, I don't really give a damn, but it's a game where you spend a lot of time looking at and weighing over stats and
اهمیت زیادی نمیدم. خب خیلی قراره توی بازی وقت بگذرونی دیگه. آره خیلی اعصابتون خورد میکنه منوش.
Speaking of maps, the game structure is pretty cool. There's a top-down overworld where you go from location to location. Now, you can find side quests in this overworld. You can explore a bit.
یه دنیایی داره، یه مپ اینجوری درست کردم میتونی از اینجا مثلا هر جایی که میخواید برید مپش اینجوری میشه دیگه.
Like trigger and load you into a random enemy battle, classic RPG style. I was really into that. You know, from the overworld, you can load into bigger areas and engage in the full 3D missions and regular exploration stuff. But I really like this overworld thing. It's charming and simple and does a good job of helping keep the game really focused while also a bit charming and endearing at the same time. Basically, it proves that they really committed to the bit, and I gotta commend them for that. Now, the actual missions themselves are your typical Borderlands fare, but with a fantasy twist. It's all narrated by Tiny Tina, which, like, yeah, she can be annoying, but the way she shakes up what's going on is actually occasionally an area will transform or something funny will happen, and it all works, really, thanks to the supporting cast chatting to you while you're questing. Andy Samberg as Valentine is decent. Wanda Sykes has some really good moments. I like her as kind of a cartoon voice actor these days. And Will Arnett as the bad guy totally works. I was really entertained. I think Tiny Tim's Wonderlands like made up for the weak villains from Borderlands 3 big time. Now the actual humor and writing is completely subjective. It's down the personal taste. So take that for what you will. People will either love Borderlands writing or find it completely grating and annoying. I will say I wasn't super into the jokes too much.
چیزای رایدینگ های بوردرلندز دوست دارن، بعضی هم خیلی عصب خوردی میدوننش.
So it's still very like haha random, but like it got a few more chuckles out of me this time around. Especially a lot of like mid-game, mid-mission throwaway lines, so I think it's worth pointing out. I don't think it's going to totally change a series veteran's overall vibe, but yeah. And the missions themselves manage to keep things interesting despite the only real thing you do is shoot things and cast spells. The side missions too are often pretty involved. Sometimes it's funny stuff, sometimes it's real stuff. Even more if you're a Borderlands fan because they tuck some stuff in there for you. Along with that, there are bounties to pick up in the world, and blacksmiths, and it all feels a bit more streamlined and straightforward compared to Borderlands. Dare I say a tiny bit more linear, but none of it is dumbed down, and I like it all quite a bit. Now, these games get better with friends, and unfortunately, your boy is a lone wolf, and I wasn't able to test that pre-release, so definitely please be aware of that.
با دوستاتون بازی کنن خیلی بهتره. من با دوستان بازی نکردم.
But because I was playing single player, I just got like a little notification on the side of the screen. I'm hoping that's a pre-release thing and not something that bleeds over into launch, because a lot of people play these things together, either with a group or with the best friend or significant other, and I think there's a lot of good potential here for like that, especially with like the over-the-top magic casting abilities to chain together some really nasty stuff. But overall, I think you know, I'm a casual fan of the series. I think it has but the tweak in structure and the totally different style made it fun and enjoyable. I can't really comment
یه
on
استایل‌های
endgame,
مختلف اینا خیلی
unfortunately, and I know
فانش
that's
کرده
where
بازی
these
رو.
games can sometimes really shine. But all I'm really concerned about is getting some of the technical issues fixed. You know, the glitches, some of the menu problems. Borderlands 3 had issues.
بیشتر داره به
I'm
منوش
hoping
ایراد
this one gets
میگیره
cleaned
دیگه.
up quickly. Still, otherwise, it seems to me like some good old-fashioned FPS fun with not a lot of BS. It's not as complicated as a Borderlands game. It's not as cringy as a Borderlands game can sometimes be, depending on your personal tastes. And I think it's definitely worth something to keep an eye on. Maybe not a run out and buy it right now immediately, but hey, that's a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons,
چیزایی
some
گفتم
personal
الان
opinions.
شاید
Now I
نگیم
wanna hear
برید
yours.
بخریدش،
This game
ولی
is
یه
dropping
نگاهی
at the
بهش
end of
داشته
this week if you're
باشید.
watching
بازی
this
که
early. So once you start jumping in, definitely let us know what you think in the comments. What type of build are you going with? What type of weapons are you embracing? And what are your thoughts on the overall Borderlands series? Are you like me? Do you think 2 is the best? Maybe you like the Telltale games more than anything. There's a lot to talk about, so let's do it. If you enjoyed this video and if it helped you out, if it steered you in the right direction or informed you in any way, clicking a like button's all you got to do. Guys, it helps us out very much and we would appreciate that. But thank you all now 7 million of you officially being here. We thank you so much. But hey, I'm Jake. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
از همونم تشکر کردم که ویدیوش دیدیم. امیدوارم که حالا به هر صورت راضی باشه ما داریم ویدیوش میذاریم تو کانالمون. اما در مجموع نظرش راجعش مثبت بود. گفت بازی که این چیزایی که من گفتم بیفور یو بای بود، قبل از خرید سری اطلاعاتی بهتون دادم، بررسی نم قبل از خرید بود. شاید این چیزایی که گفتم باعث نشه که همینجوری الان بدوید برید بازی رو بخرید، اما قطعاً گفتش که باید یه نگاهی بهش داشته باشی. چیزایی که دیدم جالب بود. من خودم بوردرلندز رو بازی نکردم، اما بازی میتونه باشه که تجربه فانی رو داشته باشه. مخصوصاً همونجوری که خودش گفت اگه بخواید با دوستاتون بازی کنید که 100% تجربهشو دو چندان بهتر میکنه. و خودش گفت من یه گرگ تنها موندم دوستا اینا فعلا کاریش نداشتم، ولی سینگل پلیش رو بازی کرده بود بخششو که بیشترین اشکالی که گرفت به منوش گرفته بود. منوشو میگفت خیلی شلوغه، راستم میگفت منوی نسبتاً شلوغی رو داشت. بررسی نبود، باز میگم قبل از خرید بود. نظراتی که داد منم چیزایی که دیدیم به نظرم درست میگفت و گفتش من فن بوردرلندز نیستم، شاید نظر یک دیگه فرق بکنه. نظر خودش رو داشت میگفت، نظرش تا حدودی موافقم. حالا خودم که بازی رو بازی نکردم چیز زیادی هم ازش نمیدونم. یه بررسی 1 ساعته هم احتمالا روی واندرلندز خواهیم داشت و ببینیم که اون موقع چجوری خواهد بود. اینم از اولین قسمت از قبل از خریدی که در کانال لاف گیم منتشر شد تا حالا از قبل از خریدهای دیگه‌ای که باز از همین کانال در آینده بازی ویدیو گیمی بیشتری که عرضه بشن بررسی بکنیم. بدرود.